Okay, first of all, welcome students of the light. Welcome to Light School, video lesson number 6. This is my third take on this video. Another story for another time. But it is the second 911 video dealing with a root branch of the tree called physical health. But of course, in order to nothing happens on the physical level unless it happens on an emotional, psychological, spiritual, and light level, right? The body is an avatar. The avatar does not move itself. The light force and consciousness force moves it. And I like the color purple. We'll get into that at another time when we begin to deal with chakras, system, energy systems, and the color and vibration and frequencies of things. Just remember briefly, we were talking about, I gave you 6 elements of health. I'll give you another one right now, which is universal love. So that, again, that's an energy, right? So energy is a biggie, but the frequency of that energy. So energy, frequency, and vibration combined with directed intent, willpower, imagination, and creativity, tempered by wisdom, knowledge, understanding, overstanding, understanding, and a sense of purpose. And that is what our job is. The system's job, or the secondary matrix job, is to make us dumb, stupid, ignorant, sick, and poor, divided, disunited, unaware, and therefore having no idea of who we truly are. Not what we are. Your whiteness, your blackness, your religions, your geography, doesn't matter. It is the system's job to distract you from who you are, which is a conscious light being that we refer to as soul consciousness, directly from prime source creator. Now let's move on to what the root of the video is about. It's about health. So we've got to understand some more basic tenets. I will come out with the 3rd video on this series where I go through the entire 12 elements of health and healing. But you just got number 7. We have to look at a thing called toxicity. And toxicity, as most things, has a multidimensional aspect to it. There is a physical toxicity where we are literally being exposed to toxins at a massive level. Please go look at my video on chemtrails. Not only that, there's toxins in the food. Cool. The wheat crop, which is why I don't recommend eating a whole lot of wheat. In fact, if you can cut it out because it is sprayed with glyphosates, which is an antibiotic designed to kill off weeds, etc. But of course, it kills off your gut microbiome, and we'll talk about that as well, but not right now. But your gut microbiome is extremely important. That is the bacterial culture inside of your gut, which weighs about 3 to 5 pounds in most people. It's extremely important for gut health and therefore for physical health and mental health, believe it or not. So getting toxins out of the system, stop putting toxins into the system is a major thing, which is why we have to drink water. 2 to 4 liters every day for most people. If you're working out, you're going to go on the upper side. If you're not working out, you're going to try and keep it about 2 liters. I know for most of you, it's a new concept. But every animal other than a nursing baby, drinks water as its primary liquid. Doesn't drink teas, it doesn't drink, not that you can't drink tea, doesn't drink coffees, doesn't drink sodas, doesn't drink colored waters, doesn't drink energy drinks, doesn't drink stuff coming out of an aluminum can, which is another source of toxins. It drinks water. So water has to be your primary beverage. And water, when it reaches a certain level, number one, allows you to hold your magnetism or your energy, right? Therefore, expanding your capacity of your synergy cell, which is your inner battery. And at the same time, it allows the flushing of toxins. What else has to happen is a process of detoxification, which your body's already doing. It is always in a process of detoxification. The 8th element of health. And here we go. Demons and devils. Of course, I'm talking about negative energy. Spammers. It's been happening just about every time I make a video now. I'm not going to bother editing it out. It's not worth it. But here they go. All right. So, can the good doctor teach detoxification? So the second part of that is, of course, the first part is hydration, stopping the intake of toxins, so that knowing that processed foods, wheat, vegetable oils, and others, the skincare products that most of you are using, they're all toxic. They all put toxins into your system. We need to keep things very, very basic. So detoxification, which means you are having bowel movements at least 2 to 3 times a day. I'll say it again, bowel movements at least 2 to 3 times a day, because that helps detoxify the liver. It helps move waste out of your system rather than letting it accumulate. So we want to be moving the waste out of the system, which is a process of detoxification. And for some of you, you may even have to do a liver flush. Again, another topic at another time. I will talk to you about how to do a proper liver flush. But for most of you, you will need an herbal formulation, of which I've already concocted. I've already put it into use. I've given it out to some of you. The other issues are pharmaceuticals, toxic, majority of them. Not that they can't be used if you know how to use it appropriately. So you use it at the right time, at the right place, but realize there's a toxic payoff on the other side. So you weigh the risk and the benefits. But most of your pharmaceuticals, especially the unnecessary ones, will make you sick because they are toxic in nature. Every single one of them, including aspirin. Fake sugars, aspartame, NutraSweet, saccharin, even stevia, which is a natural herbal sweetener, just because of the sweetness, it becomes toxic. Sugar is toxic to the body. Did you realize that there are no essential carbohydrates that the body needs? There are no essential starches. There are no essential sugars that the body requires you to intake. It does have essential amino acids, i.e. essential proteins, which I recommend getting from fatty meats. And there are essential fatty acids, saturated fats, and cholesterol. There are toxins in the air. There are toxins in the water. I don't recommend tap water for anyone. It is not fit for human consumption. I'm not going to go into the details, but I have an extensive water testing system over here, and I've come to one conclusion. Distilled water is the best water. It is also what nature makes. Yeah, nature heats up water. It goes into the clouds. It supersaturates. It comes down as water. That is the process of distillation. So distilled water is the only water that I recommend. I don't want to hear this stuff about, well, it doesn't have any structure, blah, blah, blah. You can add the structure. You can add the intent. You can add the magnetism. You can even send structure into the water and tell that water what you want it to do. Again, we'll talk about that when we talk about energy and thought. Again, it's part of building the foundation. And then a lot of you are coming to me with, especially in the gym, with list of medications that you've been prescribed, and most of them performance-enhancing drugs. The good doctor does not recommend you to attempt to cheat nature. It is not recommended. What else? Yeah, so all these things have a negative feedback loop, the testosterone, all of it. There are natural ways of giving your body the precursors to these hormones, which brings us to cholesterol as being probably the third most important thing for the body. So we have air, we have water, and we have cholesterol as a miracle molecule, as a miracle substance. Where they have vilified it, lied to you about the importance of cholesterol. So you must have animal fats in your diet. You should be cooking with animal fats, not vegetable oils, which are toxic. Most of the dairy products, because they are being farmed from animals that are sick and full of parasites, I'll talk about parasites in a second, they are therefore pasteurized and homogenized, which then creates a toxic mixture. So most of your milk, unless it's raw, or you can get away with organic heavy cream on occasion, because the fat in that type of milk will kind of mitigate some of the negatives of lactose and the rest of the stuff. And of course, I have no problem with organic grass-fed butter at all. It's actually very healthy. So detoxification is a biggie. Again, the seventh element of healing. Hydration is the biggie. Eighth element of healing. Love, the love frequency, what I'm talking about, universal love, that energy is a element of healing. I talked about now love, laughter, and light. So the 3 L's are all basic elements of health and healing. I want to get to 2 more issues and then I'm going to shut it down. The issue of hormones. I'm not going to define what a hormone is. I'll mention a few. Testosterone is a hormone. Estrogen is a hormone. Thyroid, T1 to T3 are hormones. Corticosteroids, adrenaline, all of these are hormones. Corticosteroids are hormones. Most of your sex stimulating hormones that are coming from the pituitary are hormones. So the whole body is run through a feedback loop of hormones connected to the central nervous system, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, the pineal, and the pituitary glands. Makes up most of the third eye complex. So, but the basic fundamental building block of most of your hormones is cholesterol. There is a misnamed chemical called cholecalciferol 3. You know it as vitamin D3, which is the activated form of vitamin D, which naturally occurs outdoors in the sunlight with your skin exposed to the sun. Your body is pushing inactive vitamin D2 to the surface of the skin. The ultraviolet rays of the sun activate it from D2 to D3, and then it must resorb. Cholecalciferol is a hormone, and it is a really important hormone when we are dealing with body illnesses, especially cancer. So why? Because it is intimately involved in your immune system function, which, of course, cancer evolves because of a failure of your immune system to take out those cells as they are supposed to. The vitamin D probably has over 1,000 functions in the body. Yeah, it is not a vitamin. It is a hormone. And the other hormone, which is a biggie, which is insulin and hyperinsulinemia, secondary to insulin resistance, which comes from your cells becoming resistant to insulin because of your diet, because of the sugars, because of the toxicity, because of the starches. And again, your body the cells begin to shut down or become less sensitive to insulin because it doesn't want that sugar in it. Why? Because sugar is a toxin, and too much sugar will kill the cell. Remember, your heart and your brain actually prefer a thing called ketones, which are byproducts of fat metabolism, animal fat metabolism. Okay, and we can talk about the ketogenic diet, the ketovore diet, and the carnivore diets at a later time. But my food of the year for 2022 was liver. All right, it is one of the most powerful organ meats in the world. Grass-fed, grass-finished if possible. Liver, but liver of any kind, however you can get it, is a powerhouse of nutrients. And so it won my supplement, my food of the year for 2022. I don't like it. I don't like cooking it. I don't like the way it tastes, but guess what? I gotta find a way to get it into my diet. So I find a way. Remember also, we talked about emotional baggage. So remember, hyperinsulinemia creates a cascade of diseases. Not elevated blood sugar per se, although that can create a problem as well. But it is the high levels, chronically high levels and spiking levels of insulin that create a cascade of problems. Autoimmune disease, cancer, polycystic ovarian disease, uterine problems. The list goes on and on. Arthritic conditions, renal disease, visual or ocular disease. The list goes on and on because it creates a pro-inflammatory state, strokes, and of course cardiovascular disease, all from one hormone not being mastered appropriately. So if you master your vitamin D and you master your insulin, and master your hydration, master your intake of toxins, and master how you get rid of toxins quickly, you won't have disease. It's not a thing for you, all right? And of course, you need to move your body. I don't care if it's Qigong, I don't care if it's Tai Chi, I don't care if you're going to the gym, you need to move that body on a consistent basis, preferably daily. So right now I go to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. Now that all of my injuries are healed up, so I can play basketball, I do boxing, and I do strength and weight training, right? So you must make a concerted effort to move the body. I don't care if it's long walks. You have to have some exercise, some movement. the 8th element of health and healing. So, what is the last thing we must talk about? And then I'm going to end this. Is a thing called neuroplasticity, neuroparasitology, and parasites. And let's just go right to parasites. If you have not made a concerted effort to rid yourself of parasites, I have a post on YouTube about the different parasites: worms, blood parasites, liver parasites, brain parasites. And they will feed mostly on the toxins. So if you don't give them a breeding ground to live in, they usually go. There are two things that will quickly allow you to get a jump on the parasites and their cycle. Remember, it's not just parasites, but parasites have a cycle. And you want to get rid of the whole cycle, just like mosquitoes, which are parasites, have a cycle. Just like toxic relationships, especially with vampire level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are vampire energy parasites. They also have a cycle. We'll talk about how to deal with energy parasites on another time in another video. This is not the time for that. So, what can we use for parasites? Very quickly, ivermectin, very safe and effective. They recommend you use it once a year. You can literally use it once a month, once every 2 months, depending on what your health advisor says. But I recommend everybody to use ivermectin to get rid of parasite load. The second thing, and you can look up Dr. Jennifer Daniels, vitalitycycles.com. Again, vitalitycycles.com. One of my health all-stars, and she has recommended, and I have tried it now for years, not just, it's nothing new to me, pure gum spirits of turpentine. Not the turpentine that you get at Home Depot. This is pure gum spirits of turpentine. It can be bought by, what is it, Diamond Organics, I think is the name of the company, and they're out of Georgia, and they make pure gum spirits of turpentine, which is a liquid or a spirit, or determined spirits. Anyway, pure gum, there's a protocol for that. Just look it up. It's real simple, real easy. Right now, it's well known. Has to be combined with sugar. Sugar becomes the carrier molecule for the pure gum spirits of turpentine. So those are the two things you will use to get rid of parasites. But remember, parasites have a cycle. But you want to take those parasites down, down, down. And what will happen is your immune system that struggles with keeping the parasites at a manageable level can then be redeployed to deal with cancerous cells, to deal with cells that are abnormal, to deal with other invaders, i.e. viruses. And then you don't need to take papaya juice or snake venom bites, which are toxic in nature. So I think I've covered enough for right now. There'll be a third video to kind of tie this all together and then go through the 12 elements of health and healing. And then we'll get back on to building foundation, metaphysical foundation, energy foundation, and how to deal with the light codes. On that note, I will see you next time.